Mark, 2 weekends without a game now. Is that frustrating, especially coming in off the back of a fantastic point on the road at Carlisle?
Can't do anything about it. Have no say on that. The weather has dictated that we couldn't play, so we couldn't play. So we just did what we could do, tried to train and make the best of it.
And when you have that situation where on the Friday you find out that the game can't go ahead, is it then a case of looking at the other games and hoping they don't go ahead as well?
No, because we can't control that. It's about putting a plan in place over the weekend to make sure that we can get some work into the players somewhere. So we trained on Sunday, a proper training session, and managed to get some work into the players. It's not about us worrying about what other teams do, because we can't affect that. It's controlling what we do and trying to plan strategically for the next game, and that's what we've done.
And Oldham have found themselves in a similar position over the last few weeks, so I imagine they'll be saying something similar. Both sides then are going to be well rested and ready to play on a great pitch out here at the St Lawn.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It should be a good game. A lot of attacking intent on both sides, so yeah, looking forward to it.
And Oldham aside, who have been very good on the road this season, obviously that's something you'll be aware of, but on the counter to that, I suppose a side that have conceded one of the most goals in the league as well, Oldham.
Yeah, they're very aggressive on their counter-attacks. They keep players up the pitch and hope that you turn the ball over in good areas for them and try and hurt you. Got some real talented boys, and Baham Bula and Nicky Adams and Hildner and people like that, really. McElhenney, got some good players, so have we. So we're really looking forward to a good game of football. Yeah, looking forward to it.
I suppose that's something you might be a bit used to, because they certainly won't be the first team to come here and try and play on the counter.
No, but they're good at it. You know, they have a real clear plan of how they want to do it. I watched them at Cheltenham a few weeks ago. They could have been a couple of goals up before Cheltenham scored, and it would have made it interesting. So, but it's about what we do. It's about how we approach the game. It's about our mindset. It's whether we want to really commit to the game and really run and fight. And if we do that, then and our football comes out as well, we have a chance to win.
And you should have the opportunity for your football to come out, shouldn't you? Because as we touched on a moment ago, the pitch out there is looking really, really, really good for the time of the year.
Pitch is good, yeah. Pitch is fine. It's flat, there's grass on it, and you know, when you see some of the pitches in our league at the moment, they're horrendous. So it's about, sometimes, especially when we go away from home, we've got to look at different teams now for different pitches, and but we don't have that worry when we play at home.
Right, and typically your sides have been better on the road than they have at home, but coming into this period where your pitch is one of the best in the table, do you think that might swing a little bit in the other way?
I don't know. I couldn't commit. It's just about on the day. It's about, you know, if you look at the games where we've not picked points up here or we've dropped points, nearly every game apart from the Crawley game we should have won. But if you don't do little things right, then you get punished, and we have to make sure we do all the little things right. And
a bit of a different situation going into this one, I suppose, because Oldham are a side that you've played very recently, albeit not for 90 minutes. Are you expecting a similar game to what we saw before the fog descended on Nailsworth back in January?
I couldn't tell you. No, I don't know what Oldham are going to do. I think I know what they're going to do and how they're going to play, but we just got to concentrate on what we do, and we're going to run, fight, we're going to try and play and see what happens.
And Nicky Cadden that day obviously scored the goal in the first half, but then had it chalked off as the game was abandoned. It felt like he really took that onto heart and has been on such a magnificent run since then.
Yeah, he's been very productive of late, and we need the other boys to step up, the other forwards now, to be as productive as Cads, and we need defenders to start chipping in with goals from set pieces. We need midfield players to start scoring goals, and that's what we've been trying to do.
And obviously, as we mentioned there, Cad's on a fantastic run of form, particularly since he moved higher up the pitch with the new formation. Is that something that you've been enjoying?
I don't think the formation's too much different. It's the same system with probably a 5-yard change for one player's positioning. So Cads has done great all season. So he's been really productive. He's put loads of crosses in, probably the most in the league. So he's just got to keep that up.
So with that in mind, when it comes to formations, is it often a case of people get too hung up on the numbers and what's where, and it's more about the personnel and how they fit into the system?
I think so, yeah. I think it's more about... I think if you asked every supporter in the country, they'd want to play 4-4-2. But to me, the systems within 5-10 yards are all the same. It's basically the shape of the team is when you're without the ball. That's when you get your main shape. When you've got the ball, you want your players to go and play.
And that's particularly key, I suppose, when you've got players like Aaron Collins and Odin Bailey who really like to sort of float through that midfield section, and they can prove so dangerous there, can't they?
That's right. As long as they're disciplined and structured in their positioning and they're not just running into stupid positions, they have licence to go and play when we have the ball, and that's what your best flair players do.
And is that something you have to work quite hard to coach into these young talented players?
Yeah, you do have to work at it, but the biggest thing is getting them to buy into when they haven't got it, to work hard to get it back. You know, that's a sign of a real top team. Is, you know, if you watch the top teams, they work just as hard without the ball as they do with it. And
there've been some real examples this season, haven't there, at Forest Green showing that. The one that springs to mind is at Scunthorpe on the counter-attack, 2 or 3 goals up, and all 11 players, all of the players in the forward third are sprinting back to win it. And I mean that's not just credit to you and the players, I suppose, but also to the fitness department.
Yeah, but that should be natural. That should be to play football. You have to run. You have to run back when you lose the ball. You have to run back and get it back as quick as you can, because the opposition are going to try and hurt you. So it's not like that's an added bonus. That should be a given, that the players want to run that hard to stop the ball going in their net.
Is it fair to say that maybe that's something that goes under the radar of the supporters a little bit, and that as a manager is something that you really focus in on?
I think as a manager or a coach, you're always looking at the shape of your team in and out of possession, and your positioning and where people are on the pitch, and the reaction to the turnover of the ball. You know, when the ball turns over, you need people going to get after it, because you can't have all flair players in your team, otherwise you'd never win a game. And by the same token, you can't have all defensive-minded players in your team. You need a blend, but they all need to buy into that ethic of that they all want to run about.
And I suppose your job then is to find the balance, isn't it? And to work out exactly what number of flair players to those that run and fight, and which game favours more.
But you can do both, you know. If you're a good player, top players, they can play with and without the ball, you know, and that's what you need in your squad, is players that want to play with and without the ball.